I am recording. Here we are. We're live. I'm afraid I might be peaking. Let me see. Let me slow down. And we're live. Okay, here we are. It is Being Humanist. And I'm Mike.
And I'm Keith.
Okay, so if that wasn't obvious, we're doing something a little bit different today. We had a slight issue, I suppose, if you will, and we just, I don't know what, Keith, you had a slight family scare. And,
yes.
And we decided that maybe we shouldn't do a show this evening, even though we'd already scheduled it. And then we got this wild hair up our asses and thought, hey, maybe we can try Google Plus Hangout.
Right.
So
and I was like, God damn it, I want to do a show.
So my wife and I are sitting downstairs watching TV, and we're having a good time. And every once in a while, Keith messages me on Facebook Messenger, and I can tell that he's getting antsy. He wants to do a show, and I keep looking over at my wife and laughing. It's like, he really wants to do a show this evening. So we decided that we would mess with Google Plus. So that's why my voice probably sounds like it's coming in clear, and why Keith sounds like he's down a tube somewhere.
Because I am.
Okay, so anyway, we're trying something new here. I think we're definitely not the first to do this, but we've been curious whether or not we could pull this off and even do a Google Plus Hangout and have even more guests on the show. So this could open up some doors for us, obviously. So I think we're going to go with this. But anyway, I suppose just to make sure we do all the things that we're supposed to do and what we normally do, welcome to the show again. Sorry for the weirdness of this one. We as always, we want to make sure that you know that you can find us through email at Beinghumanist.podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook.com/Beinghumanist.podcast. Let's see, Twitter. I've been using Twitter. In fact, I used Twitter today, Keith.
Yeah, and you were also live tweeting throughout the entire Cosmos episode.
This is true. So yes, you can find us at Beinghumanist.PC. Let's see, what else? Am I missing anything? I feel like I'm missing something. Twitter, Facebook. Oh, there's also the YouTube. YouTube.com/Beinghumanist.podcast. So yeah, I think. See, we've gone through all of that. I'm a little thrown. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little. I'm used to you sitting right next to me.
Yeah, it's very weird not having you in the room.
Let's see. So I thought that I would also, we're going to do a short show. Our intention is to do a short show because it's already late here where we're at anyway. So I think, we're going to kind of touch a little bit on a Bill Maher rant. We're going to touch a little bit on a really awesome website that we ran across. I think it was from the American Humanists or something, but faithstreet.com. It's 10 things we wish everyone knew about atheism. And then we'll move on to, let's see, a little Cosmos conversation.
Sure, why not?
And yeah, then we'll finish it off with a really cool, inspirational outro. And I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You have to wait. Unless you were paying attention to our Facebook page and you saw me do a little preview. Because I couldn't help it. I had to share. There's a lot of good things going on today, though.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so with the Bill Maher thing, should we just go ahead and get right into it?
Yeah, sure. I don't see why not.
Okay. Well, on Real Time with Bill Maher this past Friday, He always has a little segment called New Rules, which he kind of goes off on something that pisses him off, and
Mm-hmm.
this time he took aim at basically the God of the Bible. He started off with a little bit of a rant against people who actually believe in the literal story of Noah, but it actually got a little deeper after that. And I've got some of the highlights of that rant right here in front of me, and I'll go ahead and read through some of that. He basically says, "What kind of tyrant punishes everyone just to get back at the few he's mad at? I mean, besides Chris Christie." Hey, God, you know you're kind of a dick when you're in a movie with Russell Crowe and you're the one with anger issues. You know, conservatives are always going on about how Americans are losing their values and their morality. Well, maybe it's because you worship a guy who drowns babies.
Oh, I believe the crowd may have gone a little bit like, "Oh my God, he just said that."
Right. And here's the kicker on that one. If we were a dog and God owned us, the cops would come and take us away.
Hmm.
Here's, okay, to continue, I'm reminded as we've just started Lent that conservatives are always complaining about too much restraining regulation and how they love freedom. But they're the religious ones who voluntarily invent restrictions for themselves. On a hot summer day, Orthodox Jews wear black wool. On a cold winter night, Mormons can't drink hot chocolate. Isn't life hard enough without making shit up out of thin air to fuck with yourself?
You know, when I saw the video playback, because I think they made sure to put this on YouTube like immediately after because it was too good. When I heard him say that, it really cracked me up because I mean seriously, that's kind of what it is, isn't it? You just these are things like, I mean seriously, Mormons can't drink hot chocolate, and on a cold winter day, why make yourself do something or not do something that would make you a little happier just because you want to prove that you have self-restraint? I mean, that's basically what it is, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, oh, and I actually, just real quick before I get into that, I got to throw in here, they didn't add this in the article. I don't know why. But after he goes through all of these restrictions, Jews wear wool, Mormons can't drink hot chocolate. His last big zinger was, and Muslims can't take a joke. Ooh.
Yes, this is. Oh, man.
But, right, I mean, and that, for me, it goes back to the, we've talked about this several times, how religion is those that have penned these ancient texts obviously had a goal in mind, and it goes back to control. There are certain ways that these people have commissioned for their followers to behave, and what better way to get them to behave in the way that they would like them to than to claim that these orders are not commissioned by them but by a god.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can get the people to believe that, they can get them to do anything.
Right.
So and of course this caused a big stir. I have run across 2 or 3 articles about this today, people upset about it, and I actually kind of, you know how I like to troll the comment sections of
Yeah.
these articles. I had somebody, I'm going to go ahead and read this. It was a person who's kind of she's on our side of the issues when it comes to basically she's a liberal. She's social justice and things like that, but her comment was, when Bill Maher goes on his anti-religious tirades, I find very little difference between him and the religious right. Respect others. That's the bottom line. You don't have to believe one way or the other. Just understand. We all have a right to our own belief or lack thereof. No need to be ugly about it. And I don't know about you, Mike, but I kind of think she's missing the point here.
Well, I can say that I understand the point that she's coming from.
Yeah, I do.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously she's kind of playing devil's advocate, and I think a lot of people get really annoyed when they hear people like Rush Limbaugh go off on somebody, and it's just like, there is that whole idea of, are they doing just as bad as they are kind of thing?
Right.
But
But
then
here's
at the same time, I think I had a conversation just the other day where it's if you don't make up these points, do people not think about them? Is that where you're going?
right. Well, sort of. I mean, kind of my take on it is, and I've said this before, and I think you've said it before, is yes, people may deserve respect, but ideas are not entitled to respect. Um, Basically, we should be able to criticize any idea we disagree with, and that includes religion. And when we see religion as one of the biggest impediments to our progress, and it is, we should blast it to the rooftops. So honestly, I mean, sure. I mean, some people may use it in a harmless way, but even they sell themselves short. I mean, in employing an unreliable epistemology. Going back to the old Bogosian thing, we're obsessed with the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But but really, faith is not a reliable way of knowing the world. Faith is believing without evidence. Faith is pretending to know things we don't know. And faith gets us nothing but warm and fuzzy feelings, I guess at the expense of truly dealing with life's problems and being truly knowledgeable. Because people do actually, if you think about it, people do kind of evade their problems by praying to something, and they feel like they're getting this solution when really they're not dealing with it. They're just pretending something's taking this problem away from them. Do you get where I'm coming from there?
Yeah, exactly. I totally feel you.
Right. And that's kind of where it comes in prayer. Like faith in prayer has become a substitute for action in some cases, like there's a disaster somewhere. We have so many people that rather than actually do something, like get off their asses and do something or donate, or they're praying and feeling like that's a significant substitute for actually doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have people who have a literal belief in a 2,000-year-old text, and that's hampered our scientific growth in this nation, and it continues to threaten our education and science on a daily basis. We have an entire region of the world that's in a seemingly perpetual dark age because of it. We've got wars with India and Pakistan, Israel and Palestine, a bevy of other meaningless conflicts that are based on these religious lies. So there may be a lot of people who do employ their faith in a private and responsible way, but too many don't. And I personally, and obviously Bill Maher, fucking refuse to be quiet about that. So no, I disagree with this person entirely.
Sadly, I'm toward the end of what you just said there, kind of cut in and out. Lovely internet.
Oh, that sucks.
But I think the point was gotten across. I think everybody will catch on to what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was just a hair here and there.
Yeah, so this is our trial run of the Google Plus Hangout. So
yeah. I have to say the fun thing here is that as this is going, it's weird. I because you're not here, I think about the other podcasts and whatnot that we listen to, and you hear the expert call in or somebody call in. Well, yeah, basically, somebody interviews an expert or whatnot, and they do their thing, and I feel like I'm on one of those shows.
Yeah, it's very different.
That's okay though. I'm digging this. So I guess obviously we have a video clip, an audio clip that we can play that basically it's kind of our right-wing watch roulette in a sense, right?
Oh yeah, basically it's on alternate, but it's basically a right-wing watch roulette type video.
You're not gonna get to hear the fun da 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 music at the end of it, I don't think. But it's what's the guy's name again?
Brian Fisher.
Brian Fisher. I think we've played this guy before on the show, but this is a 2.5 minute clip, and it's basically him talking about Bill Maher's rant. So shall we play it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this.
So Bill Maher has been created by God. God created Bill Maher. God gave Bill Maher freedom of choice. Bill Maher's a free moral agent. And so the decisions that Bill Maher is making right now to blaspheme God to ridicule God, to mock God. He only has the ability to do that because God has given him that gift, the gift of free will, the gift of judgment, the gift of discernment, the gift of this enormously precious gift of being able to make decisions for our own lives. And so Bill Maher now is using that for profane and blasphemous purposes. And, the only reason that Bill Maher, after a tirade like that, there is absolutely only one reason why Bill Maher draws another single breath, and that is because God is merciful, God is compassionate, he is abounding in steadfast love and loving kindness. That's the only reason Bill Maher gets to draw another breath after saying those kind of things to the potter. Why does God allow Bill Maher to go on these blasphemous rants? Because he is waiting for Bill Maher to come to the place of repentance. And he's continuing to extend to him his grace and his patience and his mercy. Now, eventually, the clock is going to run out for Bill Maher. It may be when he reaches the end of his life and he doesn't turn before he reaches the end of his life, then he's going to have to face God with those words, and he will be judged based on those words, because Jesus said, we will be judged by every careless word that comes out of our mouth. So, Bill Maher might have thought he was being hip and kind of trendy and kind of cool and all of that, but he's going to be judged for those careless words. God hopes it doesn't come to that. I mean, God could, by all rights, could take him right now, and Bill Maher would have to face judgment by the end of the day. Why doesn't God do that? Because he is patient with Bill Maher. He doesn't want to have to do that. He wants to give Bill Maher the time to come to his senses and to come to a place of repentance.
Oh, we do get the Right Wing Watch.
Oh, okay. I guess that was the original source.
Before we go into this video, I do have to make sure that everybody knows Keith is on the same audio track as the computer audio because of Google Plus, so we can hear most of everything that Keith is doing while a video is playing. I was did you see
Beautiful.
me trying to get your attention?
No.
I was waving at you and showing up the shoosh face because I could hear you typing away and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's
This is a learning process, folks.
It is totally a learning process. So anyway, you saw the Brian Fisher video. Keith can't really hear what we just heard, but
I've watched it.
Yeah. So I mean, he's basically talking about God created Bill Maher. God lets Bill Maher speak what he wants to speak. God could come get Bill Maher whenever he wanted. But he's going to give Bill Maher the chance to say sorry, basically, I think is what he says. So,
right. So, but what a cop-out, though. Like, what, God is biding his time? I mean, that's pretty easy to say.
Yeah.
You can't be wrong. You can say Bill Maher dies a peaceful death. Well, God was patient. He waited. He waited for him to have a change of heart till the end. Or say Bill Maher dies a tragic death. Oh, that's God's wrath. I mean, these people are incredible. They always give themselves some kind of loophole where they're always fucking right.
Exactly.
And
how convenient.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how the Bible works too. They've learned well.
Yeah. So anyway, I think. I don't know that we necessarily have to continue on with Mr. Fisher, but he's always a good source of laughter and idiocy, if you will. Is idiocy a word?
Yes, idiocy is a word.
I wasn't sure if I just pulled off a Bushism.
It's all right. Nuclear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's never much to say in response to guys like Fisher. I mean, the ridiculousness speaks for itself.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. Shall we move on?
Yeah, I mean, probably not.
We're about 20 minutes into the show now.
I knew that would happen.
No, it's all right though. We're still going to try to keep this short. So I did run across this really fantastic article today, and I shared it with with you, Keith, and it was kind of one of these, holy shit, that's actually really awesome. So I think what we're going to do is, I don't know, do we want to take turns reading back and forth?
Oh yeah, that would be perfect.
So what it is it's this, it's from faithstreet.com, and it is titled 10 Things I Wish Everyone Knew About Atheism. A subtitle with Set Your Stereotypes Aside and Get to Know Atheists All Over Again by Herb Silverman. So I'll start off here. It's really cool. There's some humor to it, and I think it really spoke to me. I don't know, did it speak to you?
Oh, absolutely. I can identify with pretty much all 10 points.
He starts off with, I'm a big tent atheist, which includes whatever non-theistic labels people prefer. Agnostic, humanist, secular humanist, freethinker, secularist, and more. This list applies to the whole tent. So, I'm sure that, I mean, hell, I know for myself as an atheist, I've all of those fit me, all those terms that he just laid out there. So number one is the prefix a can mean anti or non. Excuse me. While some atheists are anti-theists, most are non-theists who have no desire to destroy religion. We don't have a problem with believers until they try to force their beliefs on others.
Absolutely. I don't know. Where do you find yourself in those?
You know, for the longest time, I found myself in a area of, well, I mean, I was in the closet as an atheist, so I would kind of question people if they would try to force their beliefs, but I don't know that I had it forced on me too often, even considering where we live. But at the same time, I can say that I want to destroy religion when I'm not thinking about the people I care about. Then when I think about the people I care about, then I'm just kind of like, man, I just wish I could get them not to believe. I guess kind of the feeling. I don't know if I want to. I don't know. It's such a weird thing. As much as I would like to see it go, at the same time, I understand why some people need it.
Right. Well, I think they need it. That's where I come from. I think that they think they need it, but they have no way of knowing whether they do or not because they're so afraid to step outside of that little bubble that they're trapped within right now.
Right.
Oops.
Oh,
sorry about that sound. I dropped something.
He's going to burp or fart next. I don't know which one.
But at the same time, it is something that we can't just rip away from people. It has to be gradually kind of whittled away.
But I think you have to look at the same way that you got there, right?
Yes, exactly. It was little by little, and it was over a decade for me. So I think that's the way that most people are probably going to have to approach it. And I think when we kind of go into the prefix anti and non, like if we want to categorize people, like an anti-theist would be someone like Christopher Hitchens or Richard Dawkins, who sees no merit in religion and thinks that no one should have it. Then you have your non-theists. I guess I can't think of a specific example. Maybe Hemant Mehta would be like a non-theist. Like, I don't have a problem with your religion as long as you're not pushing it on me.
Oh, but, I know who you're talking about. The friendly atheist.
Yeah. And I think so. For me, I feel like I fall in between. I may not be as vitriolic as a Dawkins or a Hitchens, but I may not be as friendly as a guy like Hemant Mehta. That's kind of where I see myself. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. I'm not gonna lie.
So well, moving on.
Moving on, number 2, Keith.
Okay, number 2, atheists are not necessarily protesters, though that's how they're usually portrayed in the media. When they do protest, they protest privileging of one religion over another, or religion over non-religion.
Here, let me read that one more time because you were kind of cutting in and out. Atheists are not necessarily protesters, though that's how they usually That's how they are usually portrayed in the media. When they do protest, they protest government privileging of one religion over another, or religion over non-religion. So, sorry. Go ahead, Keith.
That's fine. I wish I would not cut out. Okay. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think I don't know that I can say that it's much different necessarily than even those who are followers of religion. I mean, I think you're going to find people on both sides doing the same thing, just the same way you're going to find a bad atheist and a good atheist, you're going to find a bad Christian and a good Christian.
Right, and it's kind of in that case of those atheists that you notice are the ones that are out in the public protesting something, and that's obviously, since it's kind of it's getting to be not such a taboo, but over the years it's been a taboo to be an atheist. That's the way you would identify an atheist, is someone that's all loudmouth but man, we're coming out of the woodwork right now.
Well, I was going to say, I think that people might find, I think those of the Christian faith or Muslim or whatnot, they might view us as huge activists and whatnot, because at this point in our history, there's definitely a major push to get that separation of church and state going, because there seems to be a huge back and forth right now, as I think the Christians feel like they're losing their, we talk about all the time, their privilege, if you will. And they think they're being persecuted, but they've had privilege for all these years. They haven't had anybody to tell them, hey, that's wrong. That's not what the Founding Fathers intended, kind of deal. So I think in that sense, since there is an actual push happening right now, and you have American atheists, the secular humanists, or humanist.org, whatever, American humanists. You have these FRF, and these different groups who are actually coming out and like, hey, you can't do that, and they're doing their thing and putting it in people's faces. So I can imagine that it probably sounds a lot bigger than what it really is.
Sure. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have much more to say about that one. If you want to go ahead and read number 3.
Moving on. Number 3, atheists are not angry at God, just as they are not angry at the tooth fairy. And most of us didn't become atheists because something bad happened to us. We became atheists because we find no evidence for any gods. This one meant a lot to me. Because,
me too.
Especially when we think about the movie that's about to come out, God Is Not Dead, where you have the college professor, philosophist, who is angry with God according to the hero Christian student. No, I'm sorry, that's not. You're laughing because you're thinking about it.
Yes, I am.
I am not angry at God, and I will make that abundantly clear, because you can't be angry at God if you don't believe God is there. How can you be angry at something that doesn't exist?
Absolutely. I really don't think that those that take the position of an opinion of an atheist they obviously cannot understand, for a lot of us, like myself, who went through such a process to get to the point that we are. It's not because I wanted to sin and I was angry. I actually started researching my religion that I was practicing at the time, and other religions, and science was just the kicker. It was just like, this is no, this is bullshit.
Yeah, I got you. Which, I love the fact that they threw in that we're not angry at the tooth fairy, we're not angry at Santa Claus, we're not angry at, there is no reason to be angry. It's just literally
it's something you can't be angry at something that doesn't exist.
Why are you so mad at God?
Right. I'm so pissed at Spider-Man.
Why didn't Superman come save me? Bastard.
Right. Spider-Man, everybody gets one. Tell him, Peter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. If you don't watch Family Guy, you need to watch Family Guy.
I especially have more respect for Family Guy now that Cosmos has come out and Seth MacFarlane was such a big part of it.
Yeah, but I think I had a pretty big respect for Family Guy as it was because nobody is safe on that show. They go after everybody, which is kind of the whole point. If you're being a comedian, you might as well go after everybody.
Right. Yeah, I've always been a big fan either way, and I think South Park did a pretty good job with that too.
Yeah, I agree.
But okay, let's
number 4, Keith.
Number 4. Let's see if I can do this without cutting out. Okay, I'm gonna read it in a deliberate manner.
Okay.
We'll see if this works.
Deliberate.
Atheists are not less. Okay, atheists.
Sorry, go ahead.
Atheists are not less trustworthy just because we don't believe in a judging God. Believing that of us only makes us think you would be untrustworthy were it not for your fear of God.
Okay, yeah, believing that of us only makes us think you would be more untrustworthy. Yeah, believing that of us is what they're trying to say.
Yeah, I got it. So, basically, this is the whole thing that you can't have morals if you're not a believer in God. Which is just silly.
It kind of turns into the. I want to make sure I get this right here, but yeah, atheists are not trustworthy just because we don't believe in a judging God. That's less trustworthy. That's kind of falling into the whole idea of we couldn't be moral. We can't be moral without God, which kind of leads into the, well, are you saying that without God you wouldn't be moral?
Right. And you can turn that on them because they have this perception that because we don't believe that there's some sort of possible punishment after we die, that it's a free for all. We can do whatever the hell we want. But that's the thing is human beings are we've obviously evolved some kind of moral code. We've obviously through the years, through trial and error, we've realized what makes things better for our species, what keeps us moving forward. And there are certain things that we don't want to do, and it's just common sense that we don't need some sort of book of fairy tales to tell us not to kill or rape someone. It's ridiculous.
Every time I hear Book of Fairy Tales and I realize that we're speaking of the Bible, it kind of cracks me up just a little bit.
Right. And the funny thing is, I think that there are more uplifting morals in Aesop's fables than there are in anything that's in the Bible. You know of Aesop's fables?
Are you elaborate?
Okay, well, back in the day, like cartoons like Rocky and Bull, they would actually have little segments of Aesop's fables. It'd just be like these little stories, and Aesop was like an ancient author. It'd just be like these little stories that were geared towards children to show them basically the rights and wrongs of the world, and I feel like they were so much more effective than anything the Bible could teach us, because Aesop's fables they weren't bloody, and they didn't have this guy murdering everyone on the planet, and like Bill Maher said, killing babies.
Right. Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know what you're talking about now. Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch Rocky and Bullwinkle too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that was number 4. Moving along. See, we can find. This is number 5. We can find joy without belief in God and an afterlife. We may not see any cosmic purpose of life, but we do find our own joyful purposes in life. That one's, yeah, that one kind of sits in the category of we've only got one of these.
Right.
Why not make it happy?
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, if you've got this one chance to make an impact on human civilization, you may as well do everything to the fullest. That's kind of when I left religion, actually, I became more determined to do something of worth than I have ever been in my life. I mean, because I know that, well, I don't know, but I am pretty sure that once I die, I'm just gone. So if I want to live on in some way, it's going to have to be through my actions in life, in the one life that I know that I have.
It's kind of that idea of, in a sense, you. this sounds kind of big-headed, I think, but the idea that maybe you'll live on in stories. You know, basically, your family and your memory will live on, and people will tell stories about you, kind of thing.
Yeah. You want to live on in stories, but it doesn't even have to be that. I mean, it doesn't have to be that grandiose. Like, even if you've affected one person and set them on a path, like,
oh yeah,
through, I think that's enough. I mean, you have made some kind of impact, no matter how small, on the progression of things. That's
right.
basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I totally get you. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I don't think we really need to discuss that any further. Shall we move on to number 6, Keith?
Number 6, sure. Most religious people are secular most of the time. Ask yourself how you would behave differently if you stopped believing in God. If you can't come up with a good answer, then you are what I call a functional atheist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and this is kind of something that kind of actually helped me along my path. I realized that I didn't go to church. I didn't really take heed to the whole dogmatic thing. I realized that I was living as basically a non-religious person anyway. So that kind of made me, that's one of the things I think that helped me to take survey of my beliefs. I don't know about, I mean, well, you actually didn't struggle with your belief as much, but I don't know how you feel about that.
I have to say that I do agree with the statement itself. I mean, I think it's probably really accurately true. I mean, it's basically the concept is it's not like you have all your friends who are believers in God running around saying, you must believe in God. Unless, of course, you're watching Facebook, then you might. However, in person, you're not going to be watching people constantly saying, praise Jesus, amen. You know, people aren't doing that.
All right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 7.
Number 7.
Calling atheism a religion is like calling baldness a hair color. The religion of atheism and secular humanism is not taught in public schools unless you think that conveying the best available scientific information is a religious act. If you wind up abandoning faith in supernatural things because of science, as many do, that is a collateral benefit to critical thinking.
Hell yeah.
I think, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's, this is kind of gone over and over again. Atheism, there is no religion to it. It's the exact I mean, it's just the whole idea of whether you believe in God. No, you don't. No religion.
Right. It's there is a huge variety of atheists. Like, basically, not every atheist is a humanist, as we claim to be.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that are atheists out of apathy. They just don't care. They're just like, I don't believe in it, and I don't really care to discuss it or look into it.
And they probably look at the followers as fools.
Right. Basically, yeah. Basically, it's just a position of belief, I suppose, and nothing more. you can't call atheism a religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's probably it's those who are very vocal on their Christian principles feeling persecuted by us atheists that they feel like they have to give it something. I don't know. I've never really understood why they go that direction. Obviously, even with this podcast, though, I put it in the category of religion because you feel like you have to battle it, if you will. I don't know. It's just kind of the anti that, so you have to kind of put it in that category in a sense, even though it's not.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it.
I like it.
Do you want to go number 8 now?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, number 8. Most atheists don't go around proselytizing or promoting atheism. Or proselytizing, sorry. For every open atheist you know, there are probably dozens of non-identified atheists whom you assume are religious. Many are afraid to come out of their atheist closets, and the varied reasons for that would require another list of 10 or more things that I wish everyone would know. Yeah, I know this one I definitely identify with quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because I think there are people in my life that probably assume I'm religious in some way, but yeah, I'm not. And I think those people are becoming fewer and fewer for me. I don't think it's much of a secret anymore, and I don't think it is for you either.
Yeah.
But that's true. I mean, there are some people that are obviously in the position that you and I used to be in, where they can't profess this stance they have on God and religion comfortably. But I think it's obvious that the more of us that are going ahead and saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm an atheist, or fuck it, I'm an agnostic humanist, whatever you want to call it, it's getting easier, and I really think that's why things are. I just sense things are moving in a better direction. I really do.
Yeah. I think I can see myself fitting in this position at one point in time with you and Amanda as well, because while I know I've been in this position for a long time, I don't think everybody else did. And as I remember you telling me, when you guys realized that I remember you saying that Amanda would be like, this he's such a nice guy. How can he be an atheist?
Right.
And I'm not saying, I try to live as, pleasant to people as possible. So evidently it came out. So I think I fit right into that category. I'm sure a lot of people thought I was, and I'm sure that they probably are minds blown when they realize that I'm not. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're at number 9.
Yes.
Number 9, atheists don't fit your stereotypes. There are good and bad atheists, just as there are good and bad Christians, Jews, Muslims, men, women, and any other category. Judge people by their actions and the content of their character, not by their professed religious beliefs. Hear, hear.
Beautiful.
I don't even know that we need to continue. It's duh.
No. Yeah, that's great. Absolutely, yeah. So moving on to number 10.
You get the fun one, man.
Yeah, I get the joke.
Yeah, I hate you. I just want you to know that.
Well, that's very depressing.
That's very humanistic of you, asshole.
Okay. Most of the atheists I know have a good sense of humor, so I'll end with a joke. A Jewish atheist hears that the best school in town happens to be Catholic, so he enrolls his son. Things are going well until one day, the boy comes home and says, "I just learned all about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost." The boy's father is barely able to control his rage. He grabs his son by the shoulders and says, "Joey, this is very important, so listen carefully. There is only one God, and we don't believe in him." Good one.
When I was first reading that, I was waiting like for the punchline, and when I got to it, I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. There
Definitely.
was only one God, and at least the non-believers were monotheistic.
Right. Oh, shit.
And I think this kind of brings up another point too. It does start off Jewish atheist, because I think at the same time you can say Muslim atheist, you can say Christian atheist too. I think, and
Sure.
I only say that because basically you grew up in a culture, and you kind of have that culture within you. And people may assume you to be a certain type of person because of the way you look. Hell, I don't know. And you, obviously, like we are atheists. So,
Right. Well, I'll tell you, that really grinds Richard Dawkins' gears to call a child, to label a child with some kind of a religious tag.
Right.
He's like, there's no such thing as a Christian child. There's no such thing as a Muslim child. He's right. I mean, because these are ideologies that a child at 5 years old couldn't possibly understand. They're just repeating what their parents are telling them at that point.
Absolutely. It falls right into the same category of where you were born. Most likely you are that religion because where you were born / what your parents were and what their parents were and what their parents were.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I've said it a million times, that is the first question that any person, religious or non-religious, should contemplate. The whole question of where you were born, the whole accident of birth. It's I think it's the most obvious part of it.
And I am totally going after that with my brother-in-law.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes, by the way.
I'm not dropping that conversation.
You shouldn't.
I have not had the chance to throw my rebuttal at him, but I will.
Well, he was pretty dodgy. You should go back at him.
And just so everybody knows, I since we brought up my brother-in-law, basically, we got into a conversation, and I think even a couple of weeks ago we talked about the article where I wanted to read the whole damn thing. I don't know who we had Greg. It was Greg who was on the show with us when this article came up, and he didn't like the article, and it got us into a conversation, and we've been going back and forth. So I gave him my view as to why I'm an atheist and how I got there, and now he's given me his view as how he got to be a Christian. And he didn't answer, I think, half of my questions, or he kind of ignored them. Maybe he had mentioned them, but didn't really approach them. So,
yeah, definitely a lot of gloss over.
We'll talk about that on the next episode. I'm sure I'll have responded to him by then. So,
sure.
Anyway, so we're now at 47 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive. Half hour has come and gone.
I knew it would happen. I told you.
We have the second episode of Cosmos, which, like you mentioned, I live tweeted through much of the event. There was some really good stuff, and I think the joke was on this one in particular, as we were watching the show together, they had brought up the idea that in Oklahoma, a local Fox affiliate, had conveniently played a 15 or 20 second news spot right in the middle of where the one little part of evolution came up. So that happened. It was KOKH, I think, is the affiliate. And my comment to you with the last episode was, I wonder if they've played any of it yet. Because the whole fucking thing was on evolution. I mean, everything, and it was so beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful, and I love how they eased the audience into it with the idea of artificial selection. Like they kind of they reeled them in with something that most people in America love, dogs,
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of took the angle of, we're going to show you how we've molded wolves into what we know today as dogs. I mean, think about a wolf and think about a chihuahua, and realize that chihuahua's ancestor is an ancient wolf.
Uh-huh.
That's just, I mean,
What?
And then if you think, yeah, and I thought it was brilliant the way they did that, because artificial selection is the perfect example. If given millions, millions and millions and millions and millions upon millions of years, what can nature do?
Mm-hmm.
What can nature do to actually alter a species? And obviously it has. I mean, I just thought it was the perfect way to go about it.
Exactly.
And he kind of went back to the whole, like, I know the original Cosmos, Carl Sagan had stated that evolution is a fact. It's a scientific fact. It happened. And Neil deGrasse Tyson said the exact same thing. In 2014, we're still having to think about this. Cosmos was in 1980.
Right.
That's 34 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're still having to drive this message home that evolution is not just some sort of conspiracy against God. It's really something that happened, and that's
true.
really sad. It's really sad. It is, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I think it was pretty amazing. I think he did a really fantastic job of putting that there, and I think he also had a really fantastic quote right there at the very end before they played the Carl Sagan thing. And do you remember exactly how it went?
Oh, yeah.
I bet I can pull it up from my Twitter account.
I've got it right here.
Okay, go ahead.
There's no shame in admitting what you don't know. The only shame is pretending you know all the answers.
And then the mic dropped.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when he said that, you and I both looked at each other and almost had like this celebratory look on our face, like, yeah, he just said that.
Yeah.
And millions of fucking people just heard it.
Yeah. I think, dude, I'm very excited about this. It's really impressive because I've been seeing article after article where they have creationists who are freaking out about everything they're saying, and they've got their nasty ass tweets and whatnot about how ridiculous it is and how could anybody ever believe this.
Right.
And you believe in an invisible man in the sky, and which one is more...
Oh, dude, they're scrambling. Like, you've got the Discovery Institute, which is the big intelligent design proponent, and you've got Answers in Genesis, which is the big creationism proponent. And both of these organizations have been scrambling after the Cosmos episodes. And, like, I believe it was the development of the human eye that the Discovery Institute was freaking out about, and they immediately posted this PDF that they thought was a great it was a great refutation of the evolution of the eye. And really, if you read the thing, it's mostly just bitching about evolution denying religion. I mean, it's a pathetic attempt to it's a pathetic rebuttal to the evolution of the human eye.
Right. And since I'm thinking about it, it might not be about it. You might have to help me find that PDF so that we can at least link it into the show notes so that people can see it for themselves.
Oh, sure, yeah. I can do that.
Yeah, so fantastic episode again. They definitely went into more depth. The show title was what some of the things that chromosomes do. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Or is something like that. Yeah. I think it was.
Maybe it wasn't chromosomes.
That wasn't chromosomes. It doesn't matter.
But regardless, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, that was show number 2. I'm excited to see show number 3.
I'll be watching.
I was going to say, am I going to wind up at your place again, or am I going to wind up at maybe Justin actually invited me over to his place to watch it last Sunday. Who knows? I thought I could handle waiting to the Monday to watch it on Hulu Plus, but this is going to be way too difficult. I don't think I can handle the idea that people are going to be live tweeting and Facebooking their favorite quotes from the show, and I can't watch it. This is like I have discovered that I am definitely a geek now, because this, I mean, as a child I remember, or young adult, it was always all about the Pacers, the Colts. I had to make sure I was watching the game, had to make sure I was watching the Hoosiers, and now that stuff has honestly fallen to the wayside for me, and I'd rather make sure that I got the cosmos.
I know, man. I know, and that's insane for me because you know how big of a sports fan I've been throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, and I honestly I have a hard time caring. It's just I'm a geek too. I've turned into that guy that's just like, oh yeah, that happened with the Colts, sure.
Yeah, dude, is it weird? I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
I remember
it is.
thinking when I was that person when I was in my 20s, and I'm thinking, well, how could anybody be like this guy, this know-it-all, you know?
Right.
I don't even know. Go ahead.
By the way, episode 2 is called "Some of the Things That Molecules Do."
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
And
Thank you.
in response to that episode, the Discovery Institute put out an article that was titled "Cosmos Episode 2: Mindless Evolution Has All the Answers If You Don't Think About It Too Deeply." I'm sure they've really put some deep contemplation into that.
If you don't think about it too deeply. That's I think that's the most amusing part of it to me. If you don't think about it too deeply.
Yeah.
That's what I saw a meme the other day where they were showing somebody, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah. God said it. I believe it. That settles it.
Oh shit. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe should we wrap it up?
Yeah, we could probably wrap up now.
I think.
I'm starting to feel this scotch,
dude. Hey, maybe we should continue doing it like this if it works out, because then we can both get drunk and not have to worry about any consequences.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I tell you what. As the show has gone on, I've gotten more comfortable, like bantering. At first, it was really awkward. And now it feels almost natural. So maybe we could do this more often.
Yeah, maybe, but
if needed, I would prefer to be there if possible.
Yeah, I agree. I am totally cool with doing Google Plus Hangouts and having. Dude, we could easily have Greg or Adam, or we need to bring our buddy
Anytime.
Mike on.
Hey, why not set our sights high and try to pin us down a real interview?
Dude, I have been thinking about this because we're at what is this?
Let's start with Seth Andrews. He's a down to earth guy.
Yeah, what are we at? Number 16?
Yeah, show 16.
So yeah, I'm thinking people have probably heard enough of us, two buddies, bringing on their buddies. I think it would be cool to try to bring on an expert, an actual honest to God expert.
Right, of some sort.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could bring on some faculty or something sometime.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if it's faculty from our particular university.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty fantastic. So again, this is the first time that we've had a show at about an hour since the very first show.
Yeah.
So please email us. We want to hear from you. Tell us whether we suck or not, or that you just want to talk to us about something in particular. In fact, I'm really interested, as we always bring in our guests, they give us their origin story. I am really interested to know what our listeners, their origin story. I would love to know where people came from and how they got where they are now.
Yeah,
those are my favorite things to hear.
I'll tell you, Mike, if we could get enough emails from listener origin stories, I think we could make an entire show out of it.
That would be freaking fantastic. I would love that. So, yes, please send us your emails. It's Beinghumanist.podcast @gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook again, facebook.com/beinghumanist.podcast. Tweet at us at BeingHumanistPC, and leave us a comment on any one of our YouTube air quote videos that are just a screenshot. YouTube.com/BeingHumanist.podcast. I think I hit everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just had a funny thought.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, back in the 80s when we were, like, not even teenagers yet, and we would watch movies, science fiction type movies, where you'd see people having conversations while seeing their faces on a screen, and we'd think, "Oh, that's so cool! That'll never happen." And
we're doing it right now.
I just thought about it. We're doing it because the saying, "Science fiction is science future."
Yes. Yes, it is. Well, it's the thing, man. Somebody comes up with an idea, and then somebody else is going to get the chance to work toward making it actually happen.
Right.
I think that's what's the cool thing about it,
Yeah. If anybody gets a chance, check out Science Fiction is Science Future and just add Star Trek into that, because there are so many things from Star Trek that are actually real now,
Oh my
like the
God.
iPad, the
Yeah.
smartphone, like all of these things have come to fruition. But yeah, that's a sidebar. We need to end the show. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, on that note, since we're ending the show, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to hang up on you, and
Okay.
and then I'll play the Bill Nye thing at the same time. Oh, I just gave it away. Okay, we're gonna play Bill Nye.
You son of a bitch.
Damn it. Anyway, we're gonna play Bill Nye, and it's a really fantastic. It's not even a 2-minute clip, and it's super inspirational. We hope you enjoy it. I don't know, Keith. You got anything you want to say before I dismiss you?
No, I just, not really, just one thing, and that would be keep thinking.
I wonder, are we the only ones? We're probably not the only ones that do that. But it is
Yeah.
important. Keep thinking.
Yeah, keep thinking critically.
Did you just fart with your face?
I did.
Okay. Oh, man, Keith. Okay, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, buddy, have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy everybody's favorite scientist, Bill Nye, the science guy, as soon as I hang up on Keith. Bye, Keith.
Bye.
There's a question that troubles us all from the time we are first able to think. And that is, where did we come from? And this question is so compelling that we've invented the science of astronomy. We've discovered these natural laws so that we can learn more about our origin and where we came from. This is what drives us. This is what we want to know. Let's keep looking. Let's keep searching. We have come to be because of the universe's existence. And we are driven to pursue that, to find out where we came from. The joy of discovery. That's what drives us. And these questions are deep within us. Where did we come from? What was before the Big Bang? To us, this is wonderful and charming and compelling. This is what makes us get up and go to work every day. We are, you and I, at least one of the ways that the universe knows itself. It fills me with joy to make discoveries every day of things I had never seen before. To know that we can pursue these answers. Where did we come from?